So a game I decided to kind of play just before my PlayStation 5 came in was I decided to play the game A Plague Tale: Innocence. And I will say immediately right off the bat, this is one of the best games I've played in the last, I don't want to say best, but it's one of the better games I've played in the last 5 years. And I mean, I'd heard really good things about it. Everyone who I had really good reviews, but this game graphically and in terms of like delivering new mechanics is like really freaking cool. It's a really cool game. If you don't know, I decided to play it on PC on Game Pass, which luckily that was a great decision. It was like really good looking on Game Pass PC, which is especially nice to hear after trying Mortal Kombat on Game Pass PC. Which, if you don't know, I did not have a great experience with that. But definitely, this game runs and looks great. Um, it's it's almost kind of weird to explain. I mean, the game definitely it takes place back during the Black Plague in I think it's in France. But yeah, it's a crazy story of this family and this boy. The main characters are this girl and her brother, Amicia and Hugo. And basically, the little boy's kind of mainly the major character, but essentially there's some sort of connection between this family and the boy Hugo and the Black Plague. And I don't know if you've seen trailers or anything, but the Black Plague is being spread by what else? Rats. And the rats are essentially like the best part about the game. Um, don't want to go too deep because there are like really cool story, bits between Hugo, the rats, Amicia. But yeah, it's really cool, man. I, I would say the main story kind of basically is just the what is this? What is the group? Oh shoot, the Inquisition who works for like the church is looking for the boy Hugo, and they essentially want he has some sort of blood their family has from like I don't know, centuries and centuries. I don't know. I'm doing a poor job explaining the story. The story is very simple. It's basically you play as the Amicia and Hugo, and you just want to try and cure Hugo of his disease and kind of just get down to what's going on with these rats and the plague and figure out just exactly what's going on with them. Um, so I don't know. Was there any like beginning questions you have? I feel like I'm doing a bad job
Um,
explaining the main plot.
so I mean, I've been seeing this game for years. Since it came out, I've heard people always
Hmm.
kind of rave and talk about it for various reasons. I didn't watch much of your Let's Play. I apologize,
Hmm.
but every time I've
No, it's
ever
fun.
seen anything about it, all I can think of is that looks boring. Like all I ever see is them, walking, waving their torch, pushing rats away. And the rat technology is cool to think that rat technology is a selling point to the game. But like, what is
Hmm.
the gameplay besides navigating the rats? I saw there was some like combat and stealth and stuff there. I mean, beyond that, what's the
That
game?
is a fair criticism, and I will agree with you to an extent. That is a large portion of the game. It is very much a sneaking and walking simulator. You are basically throughout the whole game. It's short. I mean, I think I finished in 8 to 9 hours,
So the
but it,
story
it
is the thing that pulls
the
you through.
story
Okay.
the story is the thing that well, the story is kind of simple in itself, but it has some like really cool turns, and there's definitely some surprising things in there. But I'd say most importantly, my favorite part about it was the mechanics involving the rats and some of there's additional gameplay sections that are like really cool. It does a really good job of mixing things up. Um, trying to the it's just kind of cool because throughout the game you kind of avoid the rats and you're kind of fighting them off. And then there is a thing that happens later in the game where it makes them even cooler. And the kids, Amicia and Hugo, have like a really good story arc. They kind of start off fearful and stuff, and they kind of definitely progress as people and as humans throughout the game. And I don't know, it definitely takes from other things. Like I would say, in my opinion, it feels very like Goonish, where it's
Hmm.
like, these kids kind of trying to stave off the attack of the
This
Inquisition and
this
the
game looked
Church and
far
all
too
that stuff.
depressing to relate it to the Goonies. Like the Goonies, I look at as very light-hearted adventure time. This, you're dealing with the Black Plague and the rats around and people trying to kill these two little kids. I don't know. To me, I
It,
think
it
the other
is,
half is like it had a very depressing, dark
yeah.
tone to it. I don't know. This just didn't check any boxes for me. I'm not saying it's not a good game or the
Hmm.
story may be fantastic, but I don't know. At least from outside looking in, nothing about it was overly appealing. I said the rat stuff, I mean, it's cool, but I played plenty of stealth games. The
Hmm.
combat and stealth looks fairly this traditional. Like I don't see anything like reinvented the wheel there. So it really would, I'm sure, as you're saying, have to be something where the narrative is what kind of is pulling you along, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah. And let's see. I definitely had some comparisons. For me, it felt very heavily like something like I don't want to say heavily, but there were some aspects of games like The Last of Us, very
Mm.
much Dishonored. The first Dishonored, I think I got a lot of feelings of just because of like the things you do with the rats, and along with like the kind of like you were saying dour nature of this world and what's happening it, to me, I got Dishonored, and then there are even sections. A lot of it's like sneaking. So I even got like some um, thief feelings like later on in the game when you start getting into towns and stuff.
Mm.
Because I don't know, I overall I really enjoyed it. I feel like a lot of the places you go in the game are like really beautiful. There's like a lot of different colors. Like it
I'm
is kind
sorry.
of dark
I'm
and
just looking
it
at
is.
the B roll, and you're like, "This is beautiful.
Oh,
There's color," and it's just like gray, brown, cave, dungeon. Like, I don't know. I'm not
there,
trying to downplay. I'm sure there are
there
moments in the game that are different than that, but
There
I don't
there
know.
is lots of color in the game. Like the entire game is not the rats. Like there are many sections that do not involve the rats. Like there's a whole chase section that involves other humans, within a town, and you go into caves. I don't know. There are other locations, but yes, there's. I'd say there's a lot of rats. There's also there's. I feel like the game mixes it up though. It's not all just about the rats and stuff. There's some like some boss battles, dream sequences. There, a lot of it is, yeah. If you don't like sneaking, it's probably not your game because your enemies are way more prepared for battling two children
I
than I
would
would say.
imagine. But,
Yeah.
all right, that's fair. I mean, I
Um.
say I'm not trying to come down on your opinion of the
No.
game.
No.
I don't know. This has been a hard one for me to ever kind of garner any interest for. Like, I know a sequel is about to come out, and people are pretty psyched
Hmm.
about it, but
That's the main reason why I wanted to play it.
yeah, but I don't know. This does not, I don't know, excite me to want to play the
Hmm.
first game, let alone a sequel. But that might just be me and my
Yeah.
messed up brain. I don't know. So,
I would say I will say to kind of combat that, what at least is super interesting and cool about this game is that it is polished and quality as heck, man.
mm,
It is, and considering this is what was this company's name? It's not a Sobi, it's something like that because it's a Sobi or a
it's not.
Sobo. I
Yeah,
think it's
it's
a
not Asobi.
Sobo
Asobi is the one
Studios.
who did
A Sobi's
Astros.
at Astro's World or Astro's World. That's Travis Scott. That's music. Astro's player.
Let's not talk
But
about
yeah,
Astro World.
yeah, let's not talk about no one's talking about Astro. But yeah, it's interesting because this is a start or not a startup. It's a company that has an experience of making like movies, what is it, movie tie-in games,
Mhm.
and they come from a background. And this was like their first major like go at like a major, a new IP for like a major, you know, a major release. And man, they made like I will say it is kind of simple, like you were saying, like the story isn't all that incredible, but it has like some cool twists and turns, and the mechanics are cool enough that again, I think it's super impressive what they were able to make considering it's their first major go, and again, the quality is like it's super polished. Like I don't remember seeing any like fault, pop in or like I don't know. Considering the amount of rats that are on screen, it's kind of impressive how good it looks. I
Yeah.
think I don't know.
Oh, that's
Maybe
all
I'm easy
fair.
to impress. I don't know.
That's all fair. As I, you're not the only person to like this game. I've seen plenty of people, speak really well of it. I think it just depends on, what your preferences are with games and kind of, what you lean towards. For me, not many boxes checked, but apparently for you, quite a few. So that's awesome.
And it may be dark, and it may be dark and dour, but I wasn't kidding when I said to me it reminded me of the Goonies, because like as you continue on into the game, your like kid group kind of grows. You kind of add different kids who like have different abilities or expertises, and they as you add each one, it adds different gameplay elements. Like you add like one of them is a alchemist, and then you add like a smith kid, and like you add thieves. It's like it's really cool as you add each one. It definitely adds to like the repertoire of the kids. And I'll just say if you play this game, I guess another thing that kind of touches on the arc of the kids is, man, Hugo and Amicia by like the end of this game are like so freaking cool, because they start out like kind of they're normal children, kind of whimpering and complaining, but they do have like good voice acting and good chemistry as 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 characters. I don't It's really great. I would just say maybe like my one like major, I don't say major, but my one like kind of gripe is the end battle is kind of I don't want to say it's BioShock 1 levels of final battle, but it's not great. At least I didn't think it was. But other than that, I definitely think if you at least have Game Pass, this is a must play. I think if you have Xbox Game Pass and you're looking for something under 10 hours that's polished, this is like, you got to play this one. At least until the next one comes out, which is later on this year, I think.
Cool.
But yeah, so